We're starting with the story dominating the headlines this morning. Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy is under mounting pressure after 2 prisoners were released by mistake from Wandsworth Prison. Now, one of those men, Billy Smith, handed himself in just this morning. Look, he's doing a little photo call outside the prison there, smiling for the press photographers. This comes after migrant sex offender Hadoush Kibatu was also mistakenly released from HMP Chelmsford in Essex. Government figures reveal this actually happens more than you think. According to stats published in July, 262 prisoners were released in error in the 12 months to March 2025. That's a 128% increase from 115 the previous year. Now, I was talking to Vanessa Frake. She's the former governor of HMP Wormwood Scrubs yesterday. And I was saying to her, you know, what is this? And is it inexperienced staff or whatever? She said, actually, it's a failure of procedural practice. She said there should be a procedure, and however inexperienced or whatever the person is that's there, they should follow that to the absolute letter. Now, we should say that Billy Smith was actually, he was on remand at HMP Wandsworth. He was then in court in Croydon. He got sentenced to 4 years. He got mistaken for another guy who had the same surname, who'd been suspended. So he was released from court when he should have gone back to the prison. It's a mess. It's a mess. And there's a great report in The Guardian talking about previous mistaken releases. And they're saying things like, you know, a computer system designed to automate the calculation of release dates has failed to function as planned, forcing prison staff to work out complex calculations by hand using calculators. I mean, you know, yeah, the whole thing, the whole system seems to be a bit shambolic, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, what is really getting on my nerves is, like, we are highlighting the individual cases of what happened. And the responsibility, that's just smoke screening. I'm not interested in that. It's like, I want them to stop distracting us with all that conversation. And I want us to focus on the fact that there are bad government decisions being made, and that this is the responsibility not of one party, it's a culmination of 20 years of bad decision across the parties. And so I want to stop with the distractions about, you know, the individual cases and get them to answer the questions. Why is the planning failing? Why is there underfunding?
And what are you going to do about it?
Why are we cutting stuff? And what are you going to do about it?
Mariella?
Well, yeah, I totally agree with you, Sue. I mean, I think the more it becomes a political football, as we witnessed yesterday in the House of Commons with this endless question, using up all 5 questions, I think, James Cartledge, on whether or not there were other asylum seekers who'd been released early, isn't actually the issue. The issue is a broken prison system. The majority of those 262 people, I'm sure, weren't asylum seekers. It's a huge increase.
We've asked for the statistics and we don't know what the breakdown is of...
No, but I mean, you know, what it's become is a way of identifying certain people, and I think that is not helpful at all, because ultimately, as you say, it's a breakdown of the system. It's been going on for a really long time. You don't suddenly have a year... You know, you can't say, oh, it's Labour's fault. In fact, I thought James Timpson, when he started out as the new Prisons Minister, said some really productive things about change that he wanted to enact.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, you've had this bill... I also think it's got quite a lot to do with the early release system.
But there's also the whole sort of, you know, ministers come in with the best will in the world. There's a whole sort of civil service under them that has to action this stuff. But we're running out of time. Nads, what's your...
Well, but I agree with everybody here. And the thing is, I don't want to be distracted by only hearing the words asylum seekers. The point is 262 people have been released and we don't know why. And I think to work in prisons is incredibly difficult. We know that they're leaving in droves. The pay is terrible. They're understaffed. People are being locked up for 23 hours a day because there simply isn't enough staff to let them out. It seems like every single part of the system needs to be looked at, and not one question asked 5 times about asylum seekers.
And you kind of... Yeah, you kind of feel that the public is on side with that, so I don't really understand what the issue is. Well, the Ministry of Justice, we asked them for a comment. They said, we've introduced mandatory stronger prison release checks to keep our streets safe and protect the public, as well as investing record amounts in our courts. But we're clear that these mistakes must not continue to happen, which is why the Deputy Prime Minister, David Lammy, announced an independent investigation to look at the serious issue of releases in error across the prison estate. Another day, another investigation.
Yeah, God.